Giraffe painting, part 4. Now we're going to be putting a lot more details into him now, as you'll see, on his horn and his eye, really to get him look more like he should do. We're just working on the horn at the moment. Remember, when you're doing this, if you put some I don't know, shade or something in and it's too dark or it's not quite what you want, you can lay a fine wisp of a lighter colour over the top, and that will tone it down. It won't get rid of it necessarily, but it will tone it down and make it look more like you intended it to look in the first place. So there. And while we're fiddling about with his horn there, could you like, comment and subscribe? It really does help me, and I can sort of get more videos out to you, and if you like them, that is. And also go below and find the link for my Patreon account, and you can support me on Patreon. It's a very, very small amount, but you'll get some extra special items that are not available to non-Patreons, and yeah, please go and have a look, see if you can support me. And I thank those that have already supported me. I'd like to thank them very much. So now you can see that I'm putting in some sort of lines onto his what do we call it? His horn there, and just putting in stuff to make shading and make things stick out a bit more, that sort of thing. Dark bits and lighter bits. Very few things in nature are actually one dead colour, well, unless they're man-made, of course, but not in nature. There we go, and that also delineates the horn from the snout a little bit more. Yep. But you definitely need that sort of light colour right on the top, as if the light is hitting it, because that does actually make it stand out and look more as if it's sticking up than laying flat against his head. And there's the light coloured bit, and also you'll see that I put the needle in sidewards along the edge of that, and that actually physically does make it stand up a little bit from what's behind it, or should I say alongside it. There we are. Just their eyes actually do stick out quite a lot, or at least the eyelids do, so I'm just trying to help that along a little bit. There we are, slightly changing the shape of the eye, giving it a little bit of an almond shape, not much, it's not very almond shaped, it's very big and round. And now an eyelid. And these are the bits that really stick out, so you want to try and not needle felt it down too much. You want to make sure it's attached, and again needle felt the edges so that it's sort of stands up proud. Anyway, see? You can see that it is standing up. And again, I'm putting the needle in from the side just to make it look a little bit more raised. And the brown line across there, again, it's like a shadow to the eyelid, and it's really making the eye stand out now. Yep. I'm really pleased with how the eyes came out actually on this. Really good. So that's very light needle felting across the top of the eyelid, and just really felting down the edges more, which makes it stand up and look more three-dimensional and realistic. And now we have a little bit of a bit of white underneath the main part of the eye there, just there. That's it. And you can see that is a very, very good effect. Really makes the eye pop out at you. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not making the eye smaller while I'm doing this, because the eyelid's gone over the top a little bit, but I don't want the eye to get too much smaller or to completely change the shape of it. Just adding some different colour there above the eye. That is really working for me. You may notice if you watch when you're watching these videos that I tend to use my mat, my needle felting mat, like an artist's palette. If I've mixed a colour or I've used a colour and I've got a bit of it left, I will stick it onto the mat, and then when I want to do something else in the same colour or shade or close shade, I will pull it off the mat. I don't do it with huge pieces, just little bits where you need a little bit for the eye here, just to give him that little bit of a glint in his eye. He's quite a character actually. And now just some little bits of highlights and shading going on here. Yeah. Highlighting on the edge of the snout. Again, it would show light. The light would show on it. This stage I spend, I'm constantly looking at my reference picture and trying to pick up on what I think is important to make it look the way I want it to look, and trying to put the different shades in. And now I think that's kind of the exciting bit. We're putting his spots in. The thing about giraffe spots is that they are not round. They are squares and oblongs and even triangles. So you want to look at the shapes and also look at the spaces in between and the shapes that they make, because that's a quite important thing with a giraffe. It's what everybody recognises as giraffe skin, is the darker spots with the negative space making a pattern. You want to make sure that you do have spaces in between. But not huge spaces. You just want to make that sort of pattern with the negative space and what we recognise as giraffe skin. You can change the shape of the spot as I did there, and yeah, I love doing this bit. It's a lot of fun putting these spots on. I mean, although he looked like a giraffe before, this is really beginning to show now. Much more recognisable as a giraffe. Remember, the spots on his face are not very big compared to like his neck and the rest of his body. They're actually quite small, so bear that in mind. As we're coming down onto the neck now and making the spots quite a bit bigger. He's a very handsome fellow. Yeah, just refining the spots there by doing the edges. Yeah.